Hello, everyone. I wanted to do this sort of mini series to kind of talk about the pips 1 through 10, and I know sometimes I get confused, or I mix things up, or I just completely um, forget their meaning or how they correspond. So what I'm using is the Smith-Waite, the Centennial Edition Tarot. So it looks a little tannish, and then the one Swiss JJ as a contrast. And what I'm doing is using the Decoding Esoteric Symbolism in Modern Tarot deciphered by T. Susan Chang and Emma Moline, and it is one of my favorite go-to books, and it is based on their podcast that they did called Fortune's Wheelhouse, and it's an awesome. They both do amazing work, and so I'm going to use this to kind of guide me, but also interject with my own information. So, okay, let's look at wands. So for wands, the Ace of Wands, and I'm not going to get into the minutiae of it. I just want to talk about the general meaning, essentially, because I'm going to do all 10. And so this means creativity and potential, highest divinity, initiation, blind force, prima mobile, first swirling of manifestation, one and all in one, will, force that leads to form. So for me, it was always like the impetus to create, but also, I mean, a driving will behind something. That was, the force part was for me. Imagine the club beating someone over the head. That's what I always kind of thought. There we go. Let's look at the Picatee on the back of that. Isn't that lovely? Okay, so now we go into 2. So we have the lovely World, which is one of my favorite cards. Just the way it looks. So the 2 of Wands is the Lord of Dominion, and it is manifest fire, rulership via conquest, mastery of all directions, penetration, initiating, breaking ground, affirmation of will, resolve and resolution, old and new worlds. Well, to me, what I would usually say is it means a longing for travel or getting out of where you normally are, and going with moving in a direction. It could be without travel, moving in a direction that you know where you need to go. You just need to fulfill that. That's always my take on that card. So you're getting some of my take, which may not agree completely with what I'm reading, but so this is the 3 of Wands. New growth, quickening of creative projects, dignity, virility, performance, benevolent rulership, good governance, nobility, right action, guest host relationship, watch and wait. Yeah, so I always got the waiting aspect of this, like the waiting for something to happen. The watch and wait is very much how it feels, watching and waiting, and then but having the strength to react when whatever said event happens. So we go to 4, which is also a nice card. The Lord of Completion, perfected work. This is a creative checkpoint, manifest will, force and form, perfect pairings, marriage. I always got the marriage aspect of it because it looks like the Jewish canopy that you get married under. Power couples, order and fulfillment, a fleeting union, temporary refuge. So those words go all over the place. For me, it was definitely a positive card, celebrating, bringing something to celebrating its the form of something, a marriage, or a friendship has reached a point where it is mature. A project has reached a point where you can see the end, and you know it's going to be successful. So that was it for me. This one was always a strife card. So this is Lord of Strife. Of course, strife was always the word I always thought about. So incompatibility, pressure, testing, will under restriction, upheaval, purification by fire, striving, overcoming constraint, competition and attention, drama, motion and activity, compression and release. To me it was get ready for a battle of will, a battle of might, something that you'll have to overcome. And you have competitors. You have 4 other competitors that are on equal standing as yourself, and you will have to achieve something or walk away defeated. So you have competition. So for me, it was just a competition card. And this is a contrasting card, the Lord of Victory. This one is harmony, honors, royalty, triumph with peace, successful climax, pride and recognition, self-expansion, and excellence. So you've achieved, you have the wreath of victory there. It's very Roman symbolism. And you are on a white horse, and you're being lauded and celebrated. So that was mine. So good job all around. You did it. And then it flips back to the Lord of Valor. So this one, you may have achieved something, but you have to maintain where you are. Prevailing toward a goal, regaining balance, the good fight, offensive versus defense, offense versus defense, overcoming stiff opposition, proving oneself, having backbone, difficulty and opportunity for courage, no guts, no glory. So you have to maintain where you're at. So you can't rest on your laurels, essentially. You have to keep up with the being on top, or else you'll be toppled. Or maintaining what you're doing. Don't get lazy. This card in the Rider-Waite was always problematic for me because there's no humans. Where are the humans at? It's the movement. It's essentially a movement card. The light bulb movement, brilliant and fleeting, messages in motion, divine inspiration, vehicles of will, speed of light, express package delivery. So fleetingness, I always thought of like a spark in the dark that you can't find, but emotion, and it's almost like a falling star, shooting star. You can't see, you see it, but it's gone, so you have to kind of latch on to that. 8. This was always interesting because of the bandage on the head. Or 9, I mean 9, not 8, 9. I'm thinking Lord of Strength. So here, power and flexibility, regaining health, the green fuse or force of nature, aspiration, flowing with change, aim and release, balance, the middle path, rallying the will, aligning the mind and body with intention, resilience, tensile strength. So really, the strength, you've come out from a battle and you are sort of getting your breath, but yet you're ready for the next one. You are almost unstoppable. You're not unstoppable, you're almost unstoppable, but you're looking good and you're doing what's needed to be done. That's my take. Here we have the lovely 10. 10s are always the most of, this is the Lord of Oppression. You see someone almost in despair, So here we have weight, the weight of it, dampening of creative force, industrial cog, shouldering a burden, tyranny, authority, abuse, and greed, unchecked ambition, obligations and endurance, taking responsibility, will under pressure, working class struggles, powering through. So this is more like, you've done something, it's been very stressful. It could be wearing on you, not in a good way. You may have to make a decision to overcome that. It's one of those things. It's not a positive card, but it's it's definitely a warning card. But it will also make you realize what's going on. What's going on in things. And there we go. We did the wands, 1 through 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down. I'm going to move on to cups. Let's do cups. Here we go. We got cups. So the one thing for me with cups, and I failed to say this with the other one, is cups are essentially the religion, the emotion, the chalice. It's also like a reliquary where you would keep the host, things like that. And so here we have we have a dove, a host. The W stands for weight. And we have these pouring out these 5 things. And the elf right there, the Jewish letter elf. Very similar. So roots, the powers of water. So of course the element with that is water. The element for the wands was fire. So we have fire, now we have water. And let's see. So Ace of Cups, roots of the power of water, emotional seeding, heart-opening devotional quests, flow in abundance, romance, nascent stirrings of love, unconditional love, spiritual healing, sacrifice, purification. And this has always meant one of emotion, a lot of emotion, overflowing emotion. It could be just a lot of something, a lot of emotion. That's always the card with the meaning that I've always attributed to it. And then we have 2 of Cups. So this is the Lord of Love. So for me, this was always like a meeting of equals and a relationship of sorts. Some sort of meeting of the minds and a relationship. Could be spiritual, emotional, love. And this is nurturing, agape versus eros. So friendship versus love. So like love. Preparing for pregnancy, maternal care, pledging troth, so betrothal, entwining, union of polarities and the result, romance, harmony of the male and female, partnership, mirroring, mutual attraction, interest, and excitement. So to me, it was always an equal on equals and kind of settling up, settle to, we're equals, we respect each other, and we're entering in a thing. 3. So for me, this card it had a feminine lean to it, like a sisterhood, rejoicing. I always thought crone, woman, daughter, mother, daughter. That always came about for me when I thought of the card. So this is time of rejoicing, fleeting sense, pleasures, shared celebrations, female threshold nature, fertile enclosures, impermanent gratification, high point in a cycle. So if you look, they're rejoicing, and there's down here you see there's fruit and there's a pumpkin, and so they rejoice. It's very much a harvest thing. Even on this card, the grapes are there to kind of clue you in. This is always a funky card. This is Lord of Luxury Blended Pleasures. So this, for me, this was always like you expect a gift from out of the blue. But this is what the book says. Comfort with slight discomfort, the womb, plenty yet discontent. World grown small, more than enough, Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. Outgrowing limitations, irritation builds pearls, moods and emotions, the container, safety versus stagnation. If you look, the person sitting under the tree does not look too happy. Even when he's presented with a gift, he isn't acknowledging it. So to me, it's like appreciate what you have, not what you don't have, but also be on the lookout for things that may come into being, blessings, unexpected things. So I have a more positive outlook on that. There's a little star there, which is kind of cool. I like the Swiss JJ. One of the reasons why I chose this to look at, the pips are more decorated with some symbols that may help someone with pip interpretation. So number 5, Lord of Disappointment, Loss and Pleasure. Yeah, this card was always not a positive card. You had cups, but guess what? You have 3 that fell over, but you still have 2 that haven't. So that was, appreciate what you have, not what move on from your loss. Yes, you did lose something, but you didn't lose everything. So this is discontent, emotional dryness, marital excess, disruption of the emotional realm, disturbance of ease, the Buddhist concept of hungry ghost, not being satisfied, lost connection, the river of letting go. Here we have sparse fruit, but we still have fruit. Six is the Lord of Pleasure. This is freedom and joy, innocent and sexual pleasures, balance, warm emotional connection, harmony, ease, sexual will, well-being, satisfaction, nostalgia, and childhood. So for me, this was always 2 innocent children playing and just being out in the open, and it had to do with like sibling relationships and gifts and appreciating what you have, but also remember to reward good behavior in a family, because sometimes you do need a reinforcement of. So we have an older brother with a younger sister, or an older boy with a younger girl, and it looks like he's giving her or selling her a little bouquet in a cup. So that was my take on it. That's why the Rider-Waite is always easiest for people to kind of get into tarot, because it's always just a little more interesting. This is the Lord of Debauch, illusionary success. For me, this was, like you have all these things in front of you, but it's very much a crapshoot. And notice some of those cups are not what you want, but you have all this stuff in front of you. What are you going to do? It's not a very good card to answer questions. Apparitions, delirium, imagination versus illusion, magic and glamour, fantasy island, dreams of indulgence, enchantment, corruption of purity, fairy favors, elusive visions, distortion versus reflection, being enamored, sirens and succubae. That's okay. False lights, fertile imaginings, ensoulment of images, shameful secrets, creative work, the magic lasso, compost. We went kind of crazy with the descriptions. But yeah, the illusion of, you have jewels and riches, magic person there, kind of an interesting snake, a dragon, victory, a face, and a castle. So you got all that stuff there for 7. Let's move on to 8. I love cards with the moon, but that, to me, that looks more like an eclipse. Lord of Indolence, abandoned success. This is always a setting off on a journey, abandoning something, your family, abandoning something, a collection of things. Let's see, confusion, self-undoing, treasure hunts, abandoned, yeah. Loss of heart, culpability, sloth, spiritual depression, giving up or transcending, resignation, impotence over time, stagnation, introspection, decline, and melancholy, disinterest, renunciation, dark night of the soul, and wandering the labyrinth. Ooh. We are setting off on a journey to do something, but for what? And why are you leaving these things behind? So here we have leaves of autumn here. So you kind of get clued in just a little bit. Just enough depiction not to really help you in the visual cue. I always never liked this card. Lord of Happiness. Penultimate bliss is the best kind. Luck, wish fulfillment, magic, truths, ideals, toasting good fortune, rewards without effort. That's the problem I have with this. Rewards without effort. So someone lazy getting something they don't deserve. The good life, rich living, material, spiritual harmony, true contentment, satisfaction, and being well fed. I always thought of this as a fat Epicurean who has feasted and is sated for now but not later. So he is more of a shrewd capitalist, stingy, hoarding type. So beware. It's a card of definitely watch out for these things. These are not positive things that you want to be associated with. Oh, and then we have like the best happiness card you could ever get, in my view. Lord of Satiety, perfected success. So you have a family, even the children are dancing. The brother and sister are getting along. You have this beautiful rainbow over your house, your domicile. You have a river. The man and the wife are mirror images of each other, so it's beautiful, lovely, perfect union. This says fleeting sweetness, transcending oblivion and surrender, overconsumption, illusion of perfection. The pipe dream, overripe fruits and seed within, building and dissolving, ephemeral fulfillment, dream within dream, sacrifices for perfection, picture perfect projections. Well, I wouldn't say, I don't really agree with all of those. Projections, I mean, it's a card of, definitely for me, since we're dealing with emotion, and whenever you deal with emotion, if you have too much of something, of course, the opposite is, the direct opposite of that. So if you're way happy, the opposite is you're very sad. People can't stay happy all the time. They just can't. Usually there's a baseline, and it's like a sine wave, up and down, up and down, up and down. So I can see where this is getting at that. But I also think you should appreciate what you have when you can. And so the kids are young, they haven't grown up. You have a beautiful rainbow, and you see what you want to see in that, and you're happy. So be content in the moment. Yes, it may be fleeting, but you've got it, and it's a lovely, lovely picture of happiness. Okay, so there we go. We did we did wands, and we did cups, the two fairly easy suits. And then I will another time do the coins or pentacles and the swords. So thank you so much for watching. This is the end of part 1.